Welcome to the channel UPSC NDA CDS Success Forum. Now in this video I am going to start with the modern history. As you know, when you prepare for any competitive examination, whether it is conducted by the PSC, that is Public Service Commission, what we call it as the State Public Service Commission, or the Union Public Service Commission, there are some certain subjects which are very common and from where you are bound to get the questions. But when you prepare for these subjects, you need to understand what are the areas which you need to give importance. Now when we look at the modern history, or say the history part, the history is again divided into three parts, that is ancient history, medieval history and modern history. But if you analyze the previous year questions for the past say 14 years, 16 years, 20 years question papers, you will come to know that most of the questions had figured out from the modern history. Now several times we fail to understand from where to begin, how to begin. Now if we look at the history of our country, the history is divided into three parts, that is ancient history, medieval history and modern history. Now when we think about the ancient history, we rarely get the questions, hardly one or two questions are asked. Then medieval history, again one or two questions, max to max 3 to 5 questions sometimes. But most of the questions, it comes from the modern history. Now the question comes to your mind, from where to begin and how to begin. So modern history, as we know, it begins with the decline of the Mughal Empire and the arrival of the Europeans. Now the decline of the Mughal Empire, after the death of the Aurangzeb, there was no such powerful Mughal emperor who could retain and who could fight with the Europeans. So after Aurangzeb was the last, he was not the last Mughal emperor, but he was the most powerful Mughal emperor who had established his empire almost throughout the country, and he ruled more than 48 years. Aurangzeb, he ruled more than 48 years, but after his death, then the history of our country is entirely changed. And how did it change? It changed with the arrival of the Europeans. Now the question may come to your mind, who were the first one to land up in our country? And the answer should be the Portuguese. Portuguese were the first European who landed up in our country, and that time Portugal was being ruled by King Emmanuel, and he was the one who promoted the navigators, the traders, that they should find out the different routes for trading so that they could get the maximum benefits out of trading. So Vasco da Gama, he was one of the navigator, he was a sailor, and he was promoted, he was given the motivation by King Emmanuel, and he said, Ki now you need to navigate, you need to find out the different sea routes. And accordingly, a new sea route was found out, rather discovered by Vasco da Gama in the year 1498. Now if you analyze the previous year question, there was a question, who were the first European who landed up in our country? The Portuguese, they were the first one. The second question is, who discovered sea route to India? The sea route to India was discovered by Vasco da Gama via Cape of Good Hope. Now Cape of Good Hope, as it is the southern tip of South Africa, as we have Kanyakumari. Kanyakumari is the mainland southern tip of our India. Similarly, Cape of Good Hope, it is the southern tip of South Africa, and through that route Vasco da Gama landed up here at Calicut. Now Calicut, it is the coastal area of Kerala, and that time Calicut, it was being ruled by King Zamorin, the local ruler. So when he landed up here at Calicut, he was welcomed by King Zamorin. Now here you could see it is the Cape of Good Hope, is a rocky headland on the Atlantic coast of the peninsula in South Africa. As I say, India is a peninsula. The peninsula means where the three sides of the land it is covered with water. We call it as a peninsula. So India is a peninsular country. Similarly, South Africa, there is one point what we call it as the Cape of Good Hope. Via that route, Vasco da Gama landed up in our country in the year 1498, and he was the one who found out sea route to India. Now, where did he arrive? Initially, first, he arrived at Kappad. Kappad, it is there, the harbor, where he could harbor his ship. Now, he first arrived at Kappad near Kozhikode in Kerala. So, that time, it was being ruled by King Zamorin. He was the local king in Calicut. And what was the name of his ship through which he landed? The name of his ship through which he landed was Saint Gabriel. Saint Gabriel was the name of the ship through which Vasco da Gama found out sea route to India, and he landed at Kappad, the port of Zamorin of Calicut. Here one more name, it is Zamorin. Zamorin was the king of Calicut, and Vasco da Gama was very much welcomed by King Zamorin. Now, I hope you have understood 4-5 questions. The question that comes, who are the first European to land up in our country? Portuguese people, they were the first one. Who found out sea route to India? Vasco da Gama, he found out sea route to India in the year 1498. Who was the king at the time of the arrival of Vasco da Gama in India? King Zamorin. Where did he land up? He landed up at Kappad near Kozhikode in Kerala. And what was the name of the ship that he landed up? Saint Gabriel. I hope this is just the beginning of the modern history, and there shall be series of such videos which shall be uploaded for your information to start noting down few points, because the question, it may come from anything. That is why we say UPSC, Unpredictable Public Service Commission. So we must be prepared for anything and everything. If we prepare it very well right from the beginning, right, and that too the focusing more on the modern history, you will be finding that this NDA paper, especially the GAT paper, and that too the GS paper, it won't be very much difficult for you if you study it systematically. I hope you will enjoy this video. If you like it, do share it, watch it, and put up your queries to me, wherein I already shared my personal number on the site. So you can share it with me and discuss with me. Thanks for watching this video.